talk about the last two companies I've helped build and lead with the theme, kind of similar to the theme of this conference, is how do you get from an idea to a business? And often the business plan that one starts off with is not the business plan that ultimately you end up with. So I'll just kind of share two paths of two different businesses. And then if we take a step back and ask the broader question of, are there patterns to success? And then sort of end it with a question in terms of those patterns and what's the right equation. So again, I'll talk about first a company, Hycrete, and then a new company I'm building, AeroFarms. In general, there are sort of two approaches to building a business. Is one, you have a technology and you build a business plan around that technology. And the other, you look for a pain, a problem, and then you find a solution for that pain or problem. And these two examples illustrate both methods of coming to one, of building a business. So first, Hycrete, we're a nanotechnology company. I'm currently the chairman of this company. And we started off with a unique molecule where people are aware of water and oil repel each other. So here we developed a water molecule that has properties of an oil. It's dynamic, it starts off as water, it reacts with metallic ions, and it forms a long hydrocarbon chain. So basically we developed water that repels water, which is wild when you think of it. And this could have a lot of broad applications, and the one we decided to focus in on was concrete. So again, here we have a technology and we're looking for a business plan around that technology. So concrete, the most widely used construction material in the world, very good compression strength, poor tensile strength, so we use steel reinforcement. It's also porous. Water carries dissolved salts to the steel that oxidizes, corrodes, expands, and it sets off a series of cracks. So we realized if we put our liquid water in concrete, it reacts with calcium, and it forms this kind of fatty acid that makes the concrete hydrophobic. So using Hycrete as an admixture, we keep dissolved salts out of concrete construction and extend the service life of concrete. So we thought the best application would be bridges. So we think of our crumbling infrastructure, and this is because of corrosion. So here we have a material to help extend the service life of structures. From a business plan perspective, once we started, and I founded this company in 2002, once we started going into infrastructure, we were going up the adoption curve quickly, but then our customers, which were departments of transportation, quickly said, all sounds good, but we need 5 years, 10 years of data to see what the long-term effects are. As a startup, you can't wait that long, so we had to look elsewhere. So then next we looked at the commercial space. And here in the commercial space, we realized that the most litigated, the most contentious part of construction is waterproofing. It's the most litigated part of construction. It's an exercise in finger pointing, and that's because conventional methods of waterproofing is you try and basically wrap a building in a plastic bag. And buildings are complex features and with like nails coming in them and pipes, so it's very hard to wrap in a plastic bag. And so these don't work, and a lot of people, the engineers, point fingers at the architects, the designers, the contractors, and so forth. So it's very litigated and really screaming at improvements. So we realized, okay, if we could not only make the concrete waterproof, but concrete construction waterproof, we'd have something. So what I did is I brought in a group of concrete contractors, engineers, and we developed a system of waterproofing concrete construction. So now we went from a product company to a system company, and then we realized at the end of the day, the customer doesn't care how you waterproof, just as long as you waterproof, and that's insurance. We really became an insurance company. So we put together what we feel is the best insurance program in the country, in the world for that matter, of insuring against waterproofing. And then from a business plan standpoint, we realized that our customers didn't like our balance sheet. Again, we're a relatively young company and we need something big. We couldn't get a financial instrument to back our warranty, so we went to the biggest repair company in the country to get them to back our warranty. And then after we figured out those things, our business started taking off. And we realized from a value proposition, we're saying we're going to take the money that goes into exterior wraps and put it in the concrete. So our value proposition was faster, better, and less expensive. And so as soon as you pour the concrete, your waterproofing's done. And again, we became more of a systems company. Our business model continually evolves. And at that point, we got lots of customers and a lot of recognition. We also realized that, that from an environmental standpoint, we're replacing a lot of petroleum-based product that's applied with high VOC, volatile organic compounds. So there's a very strong environmental message, and that helped us attract employees and appeal to customers with the Green Building Association. President Obama spoke about our company, and our business model again evolving into a clean tech company. So we went from this quirky chemical company to an admixture company to a service company to an insurance company to a clean tech company, which attracted a lot of investors along that journey. And now we're in a lot of projects in India. We're in 100 projects. We're in the World Trade Center and things of that nature. So that's one story of how taking a technology, again, an evolving business plan to finding the pains. This next company that I'm currently leading is in the space of farming. And here, it was a very different approach. It was more of what are the big global issues that we're confronting, and then how do we find a solution to solve part of this pain. So looking at big global trends, macro trends, we have a global food crisis, looking at population growth, massive population growth, massive urbanization, more people moving to cities than ever before. Over 50% of our global population live in cities. The arable land is becoming more limited. Water scarcity, huge water scarcity problems. Fresh water is going down. And also a lot of natural disasters that really challenge our food system, as well as safety issues. We've all have heard about the big E. coli breakout not too long ago in Europe. So it was obvious that we need a new farming paradigm. And part of the solution is what I got into, which was aeroponics. So I went ahead and acquired this company that is, in my mind, the leader in advanced farming, specifically for leafy greens. And here, from a business plan evolution, so let's say for argument's sake, they're the leader in this technology field. We could grow, and now I have to start using the word we more, but we could grow, whether it's spinach, basil, arugula, in 17 days from planting a seed to harvesting, as opposed to 60 or something. So it's using LED lights, and we spray the nutrients to the root system to really accelerate growth. And in doing that, we could build it in cities so it's closer to the consumer, and also use 95% less water than conventional ag. Agriculture takes up in the developing world 35% of our fresh water, in the developed world, in the developing world, 85%. So this company started off building farms, and then their business model transformed to selling farm systems on rooftops in small footprints like that. And it's a very tough sell because, as I've learned, farming is as much about the art as it is about the science, and then there's a whole distribution complexity that's hard to manage on a small scale. You need economies of scale to really do this successfully. So our business model is now transformed to being the farmer. And we have, this is just talking about a lot of technology in the LED spectrum and the nutrient spraying and the growth mediums. But it's, so now we're being the farmer, and we're in the process of going through other business plan evolutions where we have companies that are involved in plant chemistry that are coming to us about growing plants specifically for whether it's medicines or this cosmeceutical industry that might be plant-based, close to where the production is. So again, our business model's transforming. And at the end of the day, we've even been approached by pot growers. So if that ever legalizes, maybe we'll get involved there. But it's but a lot of flexibility in how this evolves. So now, again, taking a step back, and in the interest of time to wrap this up, so what are some of the key features of building a business plan evolution? And this is just some of them. So one is having a product people want, understanding the industry that you're in, a financial model that works, an execution model of how do you go from early adopters to mainstream adopters, when to scale. So how do you know I'm going to invest X, do these 3 things, and get Y out the end? And then having the right people and the right culture is part of your journey. And from that, I mean, you look at all these things, and just looking at the attendee list here, we're mostly big companies. So all of these you could do at a big company. And this is the question I'm going to leave the group with, is if a lot of people would say that more transformational innovation comes at small organizations. So what is it about small organizations that leads to that transformational innovation? It's nothing on this list. This could all be done whether it's a division of a big company or a small company, but it might be these two things. So Malcolm Gladwell talked about kind of being on the edge and an outsider to help innovate, and that's consistent, I think, with some of what a small company is as an outsider. It's also, just in thinking about this and putting this presentation together, I would say it's also comfort in chaos. And I mean, you just look at Hycrete and now AeroFarms and all the constant evolution going on. You need to be comfortable in that atmosphere, that culture of chaos. I mean, you hear Google talking about managed chaos, what they're trying to achieve. They have 30,000 people. It's tough to do. So comfort in chaos, and then two, a culture where people operate with urgency. And now the question is are these two things in conflict with what a big company may want? Jim Collins, who wrote From Good to Great, in part of his new book, talks about how not necessarily operating with urgency, but consistently and like methodically slower is sometimes one of the features of great companies that have persisted over time, whereas in a small company, it's more of a series of sprints. So I just ask, if these are two features that are important for quickly building a business, is that in conflict with a culture that one may want at a big organization that's innovating? And happy to discuss anyway afterwards if people have any thoughts on the matter. Okay, thank you.